at each other for
it's
a
a
while.
good strategy, of course.
Of course, yeah. It's the strongest of strategies.
Well,
Chris can actually walk... Yeah, I was just going to say, Chris is going to walk through a ward here as they step forward and do look to get the aggressive invasion down. Both sides spotting out the other team with early ward placement as they recognize exactly which wards are going to be placed down in the jungle. And we'll see where people go from here.
I mean, both teams doing the standard at this point. Like, I can appreciate the fact that they're not immediately just trying to go for all in level 1 team fights, because those are pretty stupid to focus around, because there's so much risk involved and they very rarely pay off. So I'm sad to see them not just going for aggressive team fights, but hey, it's a wise option to not just dive head first into the enemy team. And of course, Curse does have a superior level 1 with the anti-stun, so as a result, what do Napkins and this guys have to do? They have to play a bit more passively, a bit farther back. We do see a decent invade coming on. Curse realized where the ward is. They know where it was placed by Napkins and Disguise just based off their movement. They're actually going around one more time, possibly looking for an invader. Yeah, looking for that red buff steal.
They're going to go for that one, and I don't think there's anyone on this map that can really try to stop it. Because level 1 Ashe Annie is so much CC and damage together, it's a little bit terrifying in its own right. Let alone what the rest of the team has available to them. Jarvan's level 1 obviously isn't that great. He kind of needs level 2 before he really has everything available to him and becomes the threatening early game powerhouse that he is. But just that Annie Ashe alone could just about nuke someone down. You see kind of a cheesy opening here as they come back out. Gleebglarbu going to immediately flash away. We see the pop-up comes down from IWillDominate. He's under the tower and exhausted. Can they get this one down? Yes, indeed they can. First blood goes to Comp.
A legit opening. It's not a very common opening to see that. Now that is a smart aggressive level 1 play. They get the red buff steal. They know Jarvan wasn't spotted taking the red buff, and in the end, they should have been very well aware of Renekton this guys that was stolen just because of movement from Zekent and Kapler. It was a very nice ambush, a very good trap, and it was either spin a ward from Gleebglarbu, but he's on his own tri-bush, which is not that effective, or they get ganked and kill. Gleebglarbu could have stopped that with the ward. Unfortunately, that ward is not very efficient because it will not give any productive vision outside of the initial 2-minute mark. And as a result, the ganks to get punished for it. Very, very good play from Curse.
And I love the follow-up play from Zekent as well. He just stood forward and traded with Brunch as hard as he could and just chunked him down. ScubaChris will be able to steal away the red buff so that they do get at least some form of punishment down. And Voyboy just barely able to cancel the pill from nubbypoohbear. And now he's going to have to wonder, was this necessarily worth it? nubbypoohbear, though, was just about out of mana. But here, oh, Voyboy just barely keeps out of range. ScubaChris is going to flash back forward, going to try to use a Venomous Bite. nubbypoohbear comes in with the body slam flash. Is able to pick up that kill, but now he has no escapes. IWillDominate flashes forward. He's got the red buff applied. nubbypoohbear needs to regenerate enough mana to be able to get another body slam down. He's trying to juke IWillDominate out. IWillDominate not following for it. He's using all these jukes to just buy himself more free auto attacks. There goes the EQ combo, and IWillDominate going to pick up his, well, that's his first kill of the game.
His first kill, 2 assists, participating in every kill, which it would be 3 at the 4-minute mark. Very solid indeed. Zekent going aggressive. Gleebglarbu, Brunch only level 1. So XOL is going to have a lot of trouble really dueling if Cop goes aggressively in the lane. Zekent takes a lot of damage in response, but he has health potions in his inventory, going for a pure consumable start, as is commonly seen nowadays. Unfortunately, it was the Elise repelled not getting in range. Had ScubaChris still had Flash available, he could have gotten out of that fight, and of course nubbypoohbear would have been able to just back off himself as well. But as a result, we now have IWillDominate, who is just in this terrifying position where he's getting kills and assists his Jarvan, which makes ganks that much scarier. Now Voyboy, he was able to pick up a kill, still behind the CS, but now he's also efficient. Now InnoX in a lot of danger topside.
InnoX going to try to use a Dark Flight to get himself away from this one. Looks like he'll just barely be able to get himself back out of range. Will not fall down in that Bloodwell passive. IWillDominate chases him all the way down to the edge of tower range. Just to make sure that he keeps him honest and pushes him all the way back out. So InnoX just barely able to keep himself out of that one. Did have to burn the flash. So yet another effective gank coming out from IWillDominate.
The advantage bot lane right now going towards Brunch and Gleebglarbu. They do have ScubaChris looking for backup, looking for a push possibly. Zekent's out of mana, and that's a big issue because he can't really charge his stun efficiently. He has to use Molten Shield, which of course does have that 10-second cooldown. It's about 40 seconds between stuns right now.
And he doesn't have it. He doesn't have Molten Shield right now. He's got 2 points in the W. He's going to get stunned up. They're going to put so much damage on. He dings level 4, pops the Molten Shield. Just going to try to survive as long as he can. It's not going to be very long. Gleebglarbu, though, steps forward, takes the tower aggro. He's going to end up falling down. NACL's going to get traded back over to Zekent, but no assist coming out from Cop. That's pretty significant. 1 minion, 2 minions actually chase their way out. One's able to tank up the cocoon, but it's not going to end up being too significant as nubbypoohbear does roam down from the mid lane and is able to stop that aggression.
Unfortunately for Gleebglarbu, already had the flash burn. Could have exhausted that fight, but it would not have kept him alive to the turret. And that was a great stun. That was a great example of the vision really being abused by Curse. So able to use the Hawk shot to reveal and reveal the fact that they were trying to escape through that path, and it just made it so the minions kept chasing forward, and as a result, the stun was being blocked out. Normally the minions would have already retreated by then, would have been back in lane. You don't really account for minions in the tri-bush ever when it comes to chases like that.
Oh man, so we see Voyboy once again just abusing nubbypoohbear right now with this Fizz pick. Just coming back and getting so much damage down. nubbypoohbear very rarely able to trade any of it back, and when he does, he doesn't trade back anywhere near as much as Voyboy deals to him the first time around. He will have a little bit more sustain, as he's got the Crystalline Flask in addition to his passive, but Voyboy, because of that, is just applying as much pressure as he can and trying to keep that heal debuff down as often and as permanently as he possibly can.
Top side, InnoX is getting the worst out of it from Quas. Quas able to go aggressively. He has the experience advantage, and he also, more importantly, has his flash available. InnoX, if he ever finds himself in too bad a position, can try and flash out, or dark flight out, but the flash from Quas will just follow up and punish him severely. So now top side, InnoX is going to be able to sustain decently, but Quas, if he just keeps abusing those base values on Renekton, he's just going to keep punishing him non-stop. If he procs the blood well, there is no decent escape path for InnoX because the follow-up and cooldowns will reset for Quas. At which point, guess what? You're going to respawn from the blood well and just die right away.
See Voyboy trying to abuse the fact that he's level 6 and nubbypoohbear is not. IWillDominate trying to steal away the blue buff on this one. So, we see Brunch just barely able to use the cleanse to get away from this one. The Ignite goes down. They will not be able to chase this back down. Brunch just barely able to get himself out of this one. There's just so much pressure coming out from Zekent's Annie, and because of Cop just sitting under the tower and getting so much solo experience, he's already hit level 6.
He's level 6 with a 14 CS advantage, has that BF sword picked up already. We're going to reach an interesting point in the game. You see this every time with Cleanse. Actually, aggression on the mid lane. Voyboy going on to nubbypoohbear.
nubbypoohbear does hit level 6. It's going to be able to get an ultimate back down, but it's not going to be enough to get ScubaChris into range. ScubaChris cannot land the cocoon on that one, and Voyboy able to pick up that solo kill with no reply.
nubbypoohbear, he is level 6. He did get a lot of damage on the Voyboy, but Fizz, he's just had the pressure. He's had the lane control. Even though there are more items on nubbypoohbear, it's after the back, and frankly, Voyboy's been playing so aggressively with that experience advantage. Now Quas going aggressive onto InnoX. InnoX barely alive. He does have a lot of sustain from his W, of course, so he should be able to survive. But now, once the lane pushes back up, once he's not underneath his own turret, he's once again at risk of Quas just being able to very quickly pick him off, and he does not have the ultimate available. No Massacre to try and fight Quas off.
He just popped that Massacre to get the attack speed so he could proc the W and keep himself from losing his passive. If he lost his passive under the tower, I mean, it would have been very, very difficult for Quas to actually chase that down and pick up the kill, as the Bloodwell was full. See Zekent coming back down onto Brunch one more time. Brunch just comes back into lane, just takes all of that damage in the stun, and this is what Zekent has been able to offer this lane so far. And this is a huge, huge, huge part of why Cop now has a 30 CS advantage.
I mean, last time I believe it was 15 or 20 or so. Actually, bot lane, ScubaChris going aggressively on a Zekent.
Zekent gonna get the stun back down on the ScubaChris while he turns away from this one. There's the flash cocoon coming down. They really want to take down Zekent. Everybody's gonna flash forward here. ScubaChris gonna be the one to pick up the kill. Now the exhaust goes down. So they try to get ScubaChris back out. Cop flashing forward aggressively. He really wants his kill. He's gonna pop the barrier. He takes down ScubaChris, but he might feed this kill back over. He's gonna try to get as much damage down as he can. Brunch is gonna be able to pick up that kill. He's got the red buff ticking on him. He's got all the minions hitting him, but the heal from Gleebglarbu plus his own health potion gonna be enough to get him back out of that one.
Are they safe though? Here comes Jarvan. IWillDominate looking for it. Has Cataclysm available.
This is why Cop wanted to drag this out as long as he could. He's going to try to bait this out as long as he can, using just the Cataclysm damage. It wasn't enough. He did have to get one last auto attack down, but at the end of the day, they do pick up the kill. They do put the red buff back onto IWillDominate that they took away from ScubaChris.
And who actually the trade from ScubaChris to Cop back onto IWillDominate. It's essentially a red buff seal in a very, very awkward manner. But that was a good engage. The aggression from Cop, it wasn't necessarily unwarranted, like you said, because he knew the backup was coming. He knows that Jarvan and Fizz have so much more engage potential, so much more mobility compared to a Tristana without a rocket jump available, and a Sona, who's unfortunately very slow. And now aggression on the top side, Quas, he's being looked at though, able to slice and dice right on out of there.
But here comes the ultimate, gonna get him back out. ScubaChris in the area as well. They need to land this cocoon if they want to pick this kill up. They do indeed land the cocoon. Quas gonna go down. InnoX picks up the kill as a beautiful three-man gank gets NID the kill up in the top lane and potentially the tower. The response here from Curse gonna be taking down the dragon.
They do lose the objective control in the dragon, and now bot being pressured as well. The question is, can Curse transition this into something more? Are they going to send Voyboy down there to try and pick up a gank? They know golems are being done right now. Actually pings onto them. I don't know if there's a ward down there. I'm going to check really quickly. They don't have any vision, but Voyboy looking for the kill now. He moves forward aggressively, unfortunately a bit too late. Question is, can they get this bot turret now? The Fizz is threatening them. If they can get bot turret, this will be an okay trade. If Napkins in Disguise, get some damage on top turret and they don't lose bot, this will be a very, very beneficial exchange for Napkins in Disguise, who need it desperately.
They need to be able to pick up some gold for themselves as they're starting to lag behind by quite a bit. This tower looks like it might fall down here. They need to clear out this creep wave and get back up here. It looks like they're going to stick around to make this one happen. Step forward, auto attack 1 from Cop, auto attack 2 from Cop, and auto attack 3 from Cop. We'll get the job done. And just like that, we see it's about a 3,000 gold advantage right now for Team Curse. As they did take down that early dragon. They do lead by 2 kills. And Voyboy has been having a pretty good time of it in the mid lane. 2-1-0 right now on that Fizz, slightly ahead of nubbypoohbear and CS.
Slightly ahead, but of course Fizz is someone who eventually is need to pick up that one item, and then all of a sudden every AD carry, every support, even nubbypoohbear on Gragas, is a very, very easy target for that chum the waters into just the Fizz. Tremendous burst. Flash on a Gleebglarbu though.
That's that level 6 combination. Gleebglarbu going to get burst down. Doesn't even use the crescendo before he turns that back around. Recognize that they had no kill potential to take this down. And just like that, Curse grabbed themselves yet another unanswered kill.
And as a result, Tristana's going to be losing CS in the bot lane. She can't stay near Annie when she has her stun available. No backup from Sona. So there's more and more lane control. Zekent and Cop been playing this so well. It's such a cool lane once it reaches level 6. And they've been playing aggressive non-stop, especially since Cop got that ultimate available.
IWillDominate rolling through here. They want to take away yet another blue buff. No, they might actually just be going for the roam up here in the top lane. InnoX is going to recognize that he's pretty isolated right now, but he is an Aatrox with the passive up. They're not going to go for the dive. They do just want the blue buff as it has just respawned. Curse very on top of the objective control of this game as they have that timer down pat. And IWillDominate going to be able to smite that one away. Voyboy is wearing a blue buff right now, but it's about to expire, so hopefully they'll be able to grab one up for him relatively quickly here.
They can try and deny nubbypoohbear CS with that. nubbypoohbear is going to run into mana issues. He will have the Athene soon, so it's not going to be that bad. But it goes from Gragas being able to spam body slam, to spam his barrel roll, and even spam cask in a sense. Zekent actually going to walk into the wrong bush.
Ooh, Zekent in so much trouble here. nubbypoohbear gets a lot of back damage back down, and he's going to use the ultimate to push him away. They really want to funnel this kill to nubbypoohbear. They really want him to be able to start completing these important items. He's just about got the Athene's Unholy Grail done. In fact, that kill will give him the gold for it. But Gragas needs to be able to just one-shot people if he's actually being the kind of Gragas that you really need on your team.
Yeah, there's essentially 2 ways to play Gragas. One is you go for the pure AP build. This is something we haven't seen on for a long time. That was more of a Season 2 thing. The other is you go for utility. Actually, Ashe arrow into the mid lane does hit nubbypoohbear.
nubbypoohbear in so much trouble here as he gets popped up so much CC. Voyboy positions himself on the other side of the Gragas to block the body slam and then picks up the kill with the auto attack. That's going to be Voyboy's 3rd kill of the game, and Curse have control of the mid-outer tower.
That is of course why Ashe was one of the most picked AD carries throughout Season 1 and even Season 2 for quite a while. So much utility on that ultimate. Voyboy being engaged on by ScubaChris gets a little bit of poke though. A quick little bit of love bite, trying to get some damage onto him. But just the fact that at any moment, if they do not have vision on Cop, and even if they do, Cop can just back into a brush for a second, back into Fog of War. But if they do not have vision on Cop, he can land the ultimate from such a long distance, and those lane ganks, those lane ultimates are a lot easier to land rather than across the map. Very well played by Cop. Aggression on the bot lane though. Gleebglarbu doesn't have a turret. He does deny IWillDominate with a buster shot from Brunch Q, and they force a flash. So still a better trade for Curse.
Absolutely, yeah. IWillDominate filling out in this brush, just hanging out. See if he cancels. Will not cancel. So wards come down into the brush. Cop, he's got a little while before the arrows back up, but Zekent does have the Tibbers available to him. So if they can catch Gleebglarbu one more time with no flash, they know that they can pick up that kill very quickly. And you have to say that, it was kind of like next level mind games going on, I guess, as the entire team from Napkins in Disguise that were in the area basically roamed down. So both Gragas and Elise showing up as they recognize, you know what, they might get a little bit too aggressive to try to pick up this kill, but Curse very patient in their play. Say, you know what, all these guys are off the map, we're going to back away, we're not going to force the issue here.
It's always important to remember that if you do not have vision on somebody, you did not just see them, which was the case with nubbypoohbear who just respawned, then they could be anywhere on the map. They could be ganking you, they could be in the jungle farming up, and you don't know that, and as a result, Curse is playing smartly. We're able to just go ahead, sit in the bot lane, and just play a bit more defensively instead of going for the aggressive Gleebglarbu pick. They do have Tibbers, they do have Enchanted Crystal Arrow one more time though, so expect either another Gleebglarbu death. Unfortunately, he cannot do anything to stop it, unless he just positions himself way far back, and Brunch Q at that point is now in danger of being focused down. Or expect a roam towards mid lane, with that, trying to pick up more objectives, and trying to just get more of the map under control Dragon is available in 40 seconds, so they could be making a push towards that.
They could indeed be going for that. As we take a look at the first items that have been completed here for the AD carries, Comp has the Infinity Edge, whereas Tristana Brunch has the Static Shiv done. So there's a lot more pushing power right now from the Tristana between Explosive Shot plus the Static Shiv proc. He'll be able to clear out creep waves like it's nothing. But Comp, just with the ability, the Infinity Edge synergizing with his passive and just providing so much raw damage output is going to be extremely effective in team fights. If Curse are able to force the issue, I have to feel like they would have a big advantage.
They do. Well, a lot of it is his 4,000 gold lead. We haven't talked about it at all, but Voyboy, he's at the point with Lich Bane. He can't quite burst down one character quick combo. Is actually Quas being engaged on now. And he escaped this. He is Renekton.
He's going to find himself in the 2v1, going to use the slice and dice to push himself back out of this one. Meanwhile, IWillDominate is able to take away the dragon. Quas flashes away from this one as he does not want to get locked up by the slow from the body slam. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land on a nubbypoohbear, but there is no follow-up as Cop rather just sent that one across the map to buy his top laner a little safety.
There could have been more flashes, there could have been more aggression. Now, though, there are 4 members, or well, 5 members of Curse just grouped up in the mid lane. At the same time, Napkins and Disguise a bit split up, and they actually do force Gragas and Elise around so they can try and push this turret now while nobody's in the area.
So we see Voyboy taking a little bit of poke, going to be able to use the playful trickster to get himself away from the barrel. As the rest of Curse, they did push down in the mid lane. They got over half of the mid-inner tower's health down. So, I mean, that's very, very effectively stepping forward and getting little bits of damage down here. Let's take a look. We talked about the AD carry itemization. We take a look at the mid laner itemization. It's a Lich Bane completed from Voyboy compared to the Athene's Unholy Grail here for nubbypoohbear. And Quas, he started off with the Tiamat and then transitioned into a slightly tankier build as he's grabbed himself up a giant spell.
Tiamat is there to help keep pressure on InnoX. If not, you could just build tanky and InnoX would just sustain against him. He would probably not be able to kill him, and InnoX would probably not be able to kill Quas in response, and it would just be a very passive lane. However, Quas got the advantage early. Part of it was the IWillDominate gank. As a result, to play that out more to just get a bit more of an advantage, goes for the early Tiamat just to deal a little bit more damage and force InnoX into a more defensive position.
So, down the bottom lane, just farming away. Pretty effective for him between the Hawkshot passive and the Avarice Blade. He's getting a decent amount of bonus gold for every auto attack. Quas just chasing InnoX out of this one. You see the damage output that Tiamat grants him, as he both applies lots of pressure, pushing the creep wave back down again and again and again, but also takes InnoX below half health and actually forces him back to base. InnoX, with 2,200 gold in the inventory, not going to feel too sad about taking a quick shopping trip.
He does finish that Blade of the Rune King, but as a result, Quas can go ahead and push down that top turret quite low. This is when what Curse is doing for pushing. They'll just find that quick moment, that quick opportunity. They're not going for too forced of a push. They didn't stick around mid lane to try and get that turret down. They have been sticking around lanes in general. They find that quick moment. It's like, all right, we can get the damage on the turret now, we'll pressure now, and then back off and do something else. Quas is the one person who's been a bit more adamant about sticking in lane, but he's playing that Renekton split push style. And it's not so much about him trying to push down the turret as much as just chunk down InnoX like he's done topside so far.
Top of the ultimate, trying to apply pressure to InnoX as he wants the tower to fall down to just creeps. He does want to deny as much of this to InnoX as he can. InnoX going back in with the Dark Flag, going to have to use the Blade of the Ruin King just to create some space and keep Quas off him. Now Quas looks like he wants to come up and chase him down. Going to use the stun. There's the auto attack. The Ruthless Predator plus the Sly is going to be able to put InnoX down into the passive. Now he uses the dice to pull himself back through this, saving that cooldown for as long as possible. InnoX just barely going to be able to get himself away with this one with the flash and the Dark Passage, but no, he can't get out. IWillDominate flashes in from the side. Excuse me, no EQ combos and flashes in, and is able to pick up the kill with the Cataclysm.
ScubaChris does get hit by the Ashe arrow as well. Stunned off to the side. Not really a whole lot coming from that, but there was a backup Ashe ultimate in case Quas was able to survive that. And that was a really, really great engagement from Quas. He played a mind game with InnoX. At one point, he was running away. And with that escape, it looked like InnoX had the advantage. They were about equal in HP. InnoX had Pop the Massacre. Maybe this was a chance for InnoX to turn it around, and he thought the same thing. Thing is, Quas was just waiting for his cooldowns. He waited a few seconds. After those cooldowns came back up and the Dark Plate came out from InnoX, immediate turnaround InnoX chunks down ASAP, and that let him very easily dive and punish InnoX for moving forward like that. So very, very well played by Quas. Now Baron is a possible objective for Chris to start pressuring. They have a lot of DPS from Ashe, a lot of DPS from Voyboy and his W, and of course Quas does have that Ravenous Hydra. So if they can just get vision, or if they see, for example, Tristana in the bot lane, they might make that aggressive play.
Let's take a look at the mechanical proficiency of Quas. I know that I've been accused of fanboying for him again and again and again, but when you have 214 CS in the top lane, when you've had someone in your face basically the whole game in the form of InnoX, even if you've been having a good time, but that's still an incredibly impressive CS number. So he's showing why his Renekton is universally feared throughout the challenger scene.
Quas has that advantage where he's very, very smart about how he plays. Like, he's a mechanically proficient player for sure, but he knows his cooldowns, he knows his numbers, he knows how to really abuse laners. For example, he could have kept trying to fight InnoX 1v1, and then InnoX might have escaped with the Dark Flight. However, he knew that if he could either bait InnoX into chasing him down with the Dark Flight, or he could just wait for his cooldowns and just force a re-engage afterwards. Like, he really plays well with cooldowns, he plays well with risks, and he knows the factors in what he's doing. Like, generally when he dies, it's because everybody throws everything at him. For example, in that lane game. Now, initiation on a Gleebglarbu.
Gleebglarbu steps forward here, going to use the crescendo, but it's not going to be enough to get him out of that one, as Zekent just drops the ultimate and drops the opposing support.
I do love the explosive cast, at the last second did push Voyboy forward and actually put nubbypoohbear in a bit of danger. Bot lane, Brunch Q just losing trades versus Cop. Cop has that item advantage. No Infinity yet on Brunch Q, and as a result, those Ashe auto attacks turning for quite a bit.
It's just so much. I mean, between the Ashe crit coming out, and then there's the static shiv damage coming out, and in addition to that, I mean, the volley and everything else, Brunch just really could not answer back at all on that one. So Cop just stepped forward, took over half his health, and now he's going to be able to take away the tower as well, as he gets a little bit of assistance coming out here from Voyboy and IWillDominate. They apply enough pressure to push everyone else back, and just like that, Curse take themselves a 4-1 tower lead.
Yeah, Ashe, of course, has a bit more in terms of physical spells. Tristana does have her rapid fire, but that's more for sustained fights and when you're at least on par in terms of items, and as a result, Tristana being too far behind, her spells have kind of fallen off in terms of damage because they don't scale that well. They're all AP scaling spells, except Buster Shot, which just has decent base damage, but even then, it's not that great. And then you compare that to Ashe, who has the volley scaling up, who has the enchanted social arrow, and like you said, that passive, that initial crit, is always going to be such a big threat in fights because it means Cop is getting a guaranteed extra, I think 400 or so damage.
Man, ScubaChris walking into a brush. There's Zekent is there as well. They get so much burst damage on ScubaChris. Gonna have time to use the repel. Gonna try to get out to some creeps. He's gonna end up falling down. IWillDominate gonna be the one to pick up that kill. As that was just so much burst damage coming out from the top laner, the tanky top laner I should point out, and the support. Dragon has respawned. Curse gonna take advantage of this little window to grab themselves up yet another global objective, and that will extend the goal beyond 10,000 in their favor.
And Curse, the way they've been playing, they can finally go for a big old mid push. At the same time, they've been playing very split push oriented, finding quick bursts, quick moments where they can finally go aggressive and take an objective. Cross down a bit of danger, but he will let that blue buff go because everybody's going after that one. Voyboy is there to back him up though.
Yeah, we see they might try to go in for this one. It would be a little bit dangerous here. InnoX trying to chase this back down. They have the Song of Celerity. He wants to try to catch on the Voyboy. Voyboy stalling out in the Playful Trickster to make sure that he dodges the what is it, daggers coming out there? I never know what to call it. Blades of Torment from the side of InnoX. But even the Blade of the Ruin King will not be enough to catch Voyboy up on that one. And Curse, they've been trying to apply pressure on the blue buffs every time. The last time Voyboy was there as it respawned, but he got chased away by nubbypoohbear, plus he wasn't sure who else. And every time Napkins in Disguise, they bring just enough force to push Curse back and be able to actually secure their own buff.
Normally, denying a blue buff from Gragas is a relatively big deal. It's not as big as Anivia was last game, but it does shut down quite a bit of his DPS, especially because he has long enough cooldowns where the CDR benefits him quite a bit, but they're short enough where we can use them multiple times a fight. It's not like a Scatter the Weak from Syndra, where it's fairly long cooldown at this point in the game, and even a bit of CDR doesn't really help it that much. But if you're going to die from Gragas, it does shut down a lot of his sustained DPS. Now that you can see that the ward sweeping is coming out from Gleebglarbu, the ward sweeping coming out from Curse as well, they're looking for a power play in the Baron area. They don't want to start it right away and just do it unless they feel they have an advantage, which would be coming from full vision clearing and having just good knowledge of where Napkins and Disguise are. But at the same time, they know that they're far enough ahead where they can easily set up an ambush, easily bait this out. Unfortunately, there is a ward that they have not cleared out yet, and Zekent just roaming around the area does have oracles popped, and it's about to fade out, so they may not get it.
Ooh.
Oh, they miss it!
Oh,
okay,
he's got another
one.
It's fine. If one oracle doesn't get the job done, always keep a second one in your toolkit there. Gleebglarbu has actually not purchased brown boots yet. He has no boots. He's only relying on Song of Celerity right now for move speed. which I think is interesting as a Sona. But right now, I mean, you mentioned it before, right now so much of the game is about map control. If either one of these teams walks into a brush that has 2 to 3 members of the opposing side, there's so much burst damage and CC coming out from these lineups that whoever it is that checks that brush is most likely going to die almost instantaneously. Curse know this, they're taking advantage of it as they sweep out the wards. They know that they have the control right now, and this Baron is going to go down uncontested. Napkins in disguise want nothing to do with this.
And that's a smart play, because what if it's a bait? What if they walk into the enemy team? What if they just walk into Voyboy? They don't even need to fully disengage from Baron for someone to start picking up kills, just because of Voyboy's incredibly high damage at this point. He's got Sword Shoes, he's got the Lich Bane. How far is he from the Death Cap for Zonia? Still a decent chunk away, about 1,000 or so gold from both. But the issue is, even if they can pick up a kill, even if they can slow down the Baron, they're probably going to lose that fight with how far behind they are, and they'll probably walk into a terrible, terrible engagement. So it was a smart play. They lose the Baron, they lose a lot more map control, and this is now Quas backdooring mid-turret.
Yeah, Quas just going to step forward here. He knows he's got the damage to take this one down. Going to move to rejoin the rest of his team and say no Brunch. He is just barely making it back to base right now. Has not picked up the home guards yet, but he will be out to the tower in time to defend it. Gleebglarbu with the Oracle, keeping the wards out of the base. They did not want to provide any free initiation power. See, IWillDominate. Step forward, he's having a pretty good game of it thus far. He's picked himself up a locket for the team and is now working towards a Warden's Mail, potentially a Randuin's Omen behind that. See the Warden's Mail already completed here from ScubaChris, and he actually picked up some Spell Pen boots as well. Already has the tenacity coming out from the Spirit of the Ancient Golem and chose not to go for the Ninja Type. This time that arrow is, well, it's not going to land with anything. I can say that much. But in either case, Curse going to lose a little bit of their initiation power, and they're going to back away.
It was a good push, it was some good aggression, but, you know, they don't get it, that's fine. You saw the Baron buff for a little while, and they're at that point where you see this a lot in Season 2, where they'll push forward and they'll look for either someone to get out of position or a good Ashe ultimate to land on someone, even if it's underneath a turret in the back line. Because the follow-up is going to be so powerful, they'll have the Voyboy chum the waters onto whoever gets CC'd up or whoever decides to take that bullet. They'll have, of course, Quas able to slice and dice right in there. This is where you go for the very safe pushes with very calculated dives.
All right, I wanted to have my eye out for when he crossed this threshold, but I got distracted by something glittery and shiny, I'm sure. And I didn't notice exactly when Quas cracked the 300 CS mark. But generally speaking, that's something we like watch Karthus players do, right? Or Orianna players, is they just sit mid and farm every Wraith camp they can, all the creeps that come in, and just keep farming up as much of the jungle as they possibly can. That's not something you typically see from top laners, cracking 300 CS at like the 27-minute mark. His farm has just been absolutely exceptional this game. And you look at the size of his champion right now. He's got the Ravenous Hydra done. There's a Randuin's Omen completed as well. And he started it on the Phage. He is absolutely terrifying because there's another 2,000 gold in his inventory as well. He's not too far off from a Trinity Force. And you have to wonder if at that point, Chris will feel confident enough to start going for these dives.
I mean, right now Quas has the most gold in the game, and he's only been involved in 2 assists. That is how much he's farmed, how much he's CS'd. I think they're looking for this dive no matter what. Actually, if anybody moves too far forward, aggression coming out now.
Zekent with the flash stun. Gleebglarbu going to use the crescendo to try to get the counter initiation down and buy time for his team. nubbypoohbear going to try to get himself out of this one. Brunchu standing at the back, very safe right now. Voyboy going to go ahead and use his Anya's Hourglass. Dives back in on InnoX. InnoX going to fall to Cop. Now we see the driver come back in. They want to get the reinitiation down. ScubaChris trying to take down Zekent. Can't get the damage done. Tibbers going to tank out what's left of the tower. And just like that, Curse grabbed themselves a 4-for-0 win and an inhibitor. Teamfight win.
Teamfight win. The win might come though, as now IWillDominate tanking the turret. They have Quas at full HP. Brunchy, who is there trying to protect the turret, trying to keep it alive. Not going to work though as Quas goes far forward, activates Ravenous Hydra proc. GG's come out. A very, very well played game by Curse. They had control of the aggression, they had control of the map the entire game. No point really ever giving it up, and as a result, 17-7, the final skill score in favor of Curse. A very, very solid win.
Just a terrific initiation there. Zekent was able to get the flash stun out. It was a little bit chaotic there, but in the end, the lines were formed as you'd kind of expect them to. The AD carries were in the back, the divers were trying to dive the front. And at the end of the day, there was just too much tankiness and damage coming out from the side of Curse. Napkins in disguise had no response for it. They got pushed back out, and the only kill they end up picking up that team fight is IWillDominate, flashing and comboing to put himself onto the enemy fountain.
It was a good kill, you know, a solid kill, the fountain killing someone off to the side. Really, even though the engage looked sloppy, it kind of did. Like, everybody was finding different targets, not what you normally expect from a dive like that. That's actually how Curse's team comp works. They have so much good single target DPS that it was okay for everybody to be focusing down someone else because they were far enough ahead where they could kill them before the turret mattered, and as a result, they still picked up 4 kills very quickly.
All right, guys. So that's it for game number 3 of the night. Congratulations to Team Curse for taking that one down. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, it'll be